All right, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel of We Love Comics. My name is Chris. Been away for a little while. I mean, you guys pretty much know the situation these days, but that's all right. I actually, excuse me, I've been sick the past, well, since Monday, and as a matter of fact, almost died on Monday. But almost is better than having it happen. I mean, it was really an interesting situation. But what came out of it to me was absolutely amazing. So to me, I learned a lot, and it was definitely life-changing. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I've basically almost died more than I can count. But this one was the most interesting and most eye-awakening experience. So I've been away for a little bit because of that. But I'm still feeling a little of the effects of it. It's lung issues, no COVID or anything like that. I've always had breathing problems since I was a baby. So forgive me if I have to clear my throat every now and then. And let's get into the comics, because that's why you guys are here. I already see some people in the live chat. Always appreciate those who are kind enough to take the time to leave a comment or two. So join in even if you are not a subscriber. You've never seen my videos before. Let's give a shout out to the 4 that are here so far. Mighty Comics and Collectibles. Always watch his videos. He's got some great 10 books of what's the most important ones to start getting as far as hot books are concerned. Definitely a video I would recommend. Give him a shout out and go check out his channel. We got Daedora73 is here. Rudy is here. Sequential Geek, good to see you as always. Tori is also here, so thank you for participating. 2 of you have already hit the like button, so thank you for that. Before I show the books, I always give the whole deal of the situation. This is quote-unquote sponsored by PGX, and I use the quotes because I do not get paid to do this. Made a deal with them over 5 years ago where I send in 4 books every month, basically giving them some advertisements so they get some extra, hopefully, people to grade their books with them. I get the 4 books pressed, dry cleaned, signature verification if needed, and grader's notes on the back of the book. Every month I get 4 of them that I can send in, so it's a deal for them, deal for me. I also want to make it a deal for you, so if you ever want to try PGX, and there's many different reasons to grade your books. This is one of the things I say all the time. Yes, CGC is the #1 grading company, but that does not mean they are #1 for your particular needs, especially if you want your comics back quickly without having to pay an exorbitant amount of money to do so, and even that is going to be slower than what PGX will do in their regular delivery service. Because if you watch my videos, I usually get mine back within 30 to 45 days. And like I said, I do not pay for any speedy or service or anything like that. So they are pretty good at getting the books sent back to you right away. So if you have a book that is based on a movie or TV show that's about to come out, you can't have it sit there on somebody's storage shelf for 6 months to a year, because, yeah, another grading company might sell for more, but if the movie and TV show is already over and you get your books back a month or 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 months later, you're not going to get the money you need. So time is a factor. Also, you could be doing it just because you have a book that you want to get graded. It doesn't have any monetary value. It just has, maybe a pretty cover that you want to display on your wall. They're going to be the cheaper one. If you're looking for a company that has in-house pressings, dry cleanings, and signature verification, PGX has all of that, so you don't have to worry about your books constantly being opened, sent somewhere where they're sitting there with how many books and packages possibly stacked on top of them, reopened, pressed, put back into a box, sent to another company. That could greatly increase the chance of your books potentially getting lost or damaged. They do everything in-house. They also, thanks to one of my requests years ago, Daniel Patterson, the owner of PGX, was kind enough to listen to, for a $5 fee, you can add the greatest notes onto the back of your slabs. I show that every month, unless, of course, it's a 9.8, 9.9, or 10.0. I mean, 10.0, you're definitely not going to have greatest notes. 9.9, I don't think any company have ever seen greatest notes. And most of the time with 9.8s, you're not going to get any greatest notes. They usually don't mention it because it's something very minuscule. But if you use the code We Love Comics Graders Notes, $5 per if you want to do it. I like doing it. I like it being right there on the slab. So if you ever sell your book, people will know what's wrong with it, because, you know, if a lot of the damage is inside the book, when it's slabbed, you're not going to know it. So as a buyer, I like knowing what I'm buying. So if that's something for you, check out that. That's in the description of this and every video. Also, if you send in 10 comics or more to PGX to get graded, if you use the code We Love Comics Free Press, you can get one of them pressed for free. So depending on the book, that could be anywhere from a $20 to $35, maybe up to $50 value, depending, you know, if it's a Golden Age book or a very expensive key book. But if anything, saving money puts it in your pocket and not somebody else's. And as far as grading fees, they're one of the cheaper ones around. So if you're looking to save money, get faster service, PGX might be somebody to give a try. You know, don't believe everything that you hear on the internet. Every company has its flaws. Every company has its problems. I show my videos every month when I get my books back live, so there is no editing. There is no trickery. I just show the books, and in 5 years, 5+ years, getting 4 books every month, I think maybe 5 books I did not agree, and everybody else did not agree with the grade. So you're going to get people from all companies have, you know, because it's human beings that are grading them, and that's subject to people's own opinions. You're going to have sometimes some differences, but 5 books out of over 5 years, that's not some company that's just basically randomly rolling dice and saying, oh, this is the grade we're going to pick for the book. So with that out of the way, check the description and get those codes and give them a try if you haven't tried them. You cannot have your own really statement about a company until you've tried them. If you're basing it on what other people have said or somebody else's experience, that's not the best way to help yourself, because somebody may have had a good experience with one company and another person had a horrible experience with that same company. So you can't go by, well, I like this person and what they say, but I don't like this person and what they say, so I'm going to listen to one and ignore the other. Base it on your own experience and you'll always go far. So there's many different reasons why to get your books graded. If you think some of the things that I mentioned is worth going with PGX, give them a try. Use those discount codes, because I wanted to make sure you guys benefited as well. Get a little something back to you. All right, so 6 people have liked it, 10 people are watching. We got a bunch of people in the comment section. That is great. Let me turn on the video camera and let us show the books. Now, of course, I always mention what the book is, the significance, because I always send in key issue books. I'm not sending in books that are, you know, just has a nice cover. For me, I want books that eventually I will sell to be graded, and people have a, they'll know what the grades are instead of guessing. I don't really like to sell as many raw books, because you never know. You could miss something on page 37 that could significantly lower the grade, because grading is not about just looking at the front cover. I've seen so many people do that. They're like, oh, I can't believe this book is not a 9.8, and they take 2 seconds to look at the front cover. Got to go with the whole book. So let's get to the first one. This one, obviously at this point, we know this character is going to be in a movie. I have several of these. I bought these years ago. This is a book I was recommending for years. I paid such a low price. I mean, I wish I would have paid cover price, but this is, you know, I'm not going to complain. And I still have, I think, 2 or 3 more copies, but this was the best of the 3. I don't think I've sent this in to get graded, and if I have, it's been years. But this is What If number 10, which is technically the first appearance of Jane Foster as Thor, but since it is a what if issue, it is not canon. But with her on the cover with the Thor costume on, and with the Thor Love and Thunder movie, I believe, coming out in July, this is a book people may want to think about. I mean, obviously, the first appearance of Jane Foster is going to be very hard to get, unless, you know, you have a bank account that's up there, which is Journey into Mystery 84. Second appearance of Thor, first appearance of Jane Foster. I'm lucky to own that book. I bought a 2.5 graded book probably about 2016, 2017. So I'd be interested to see what the grade is. Now, one of the things I highly recommend, no matter what grading company you send your books to, I always recommend getting your books graded, because especially like this one, it has some pressable defects. Now, pressable defects are, sometimes technically wrinkles from maybe some water stains. Now, obviously, water stains are not going to come out. Depends on the stain. But little bends that do not break color. The back of this book has a couple of them that do not break color. There is a little bit of foxing by the staples, not major amounts, so dry cleaning could help them a little bit, but it's not going to get it out completely. So unfortunately, this is not going to be a 9.8, but I paid $25 for this book, so no matter what grade, I mean, this can come back a 5.0 and I'll do fine, but this is a higher grade book. Now, I base it on not what it is now, I base it on what I think it's going to be after pressing and dry cleaning. So that could be a little challenging, because again, it depends on how good it is, because this is a thicker book, so the pressings may not be as helpful, but we'll see. Staples are intact. They are bright silver. So I am saying it's about between a 9.0 and a 9.4 off-white to white pages. And again, that's after a pressing and dry cleaning. Comes back an 8.0 for the price I paid for it. I'm going to do well. One of the things I recommend is, and I'm not going to show it, when you send your books to any grading company, on the back of the, not the comic itself, obviously, but the bag and board, put your name, address. You could put your phone number, your email address. So this way, if it ever gets separated or they take it out of the box and forget, because it didn't get sorted right, they'll know whose it is. Because I had that one time where it's like 3 years ago, I forgot to do that, and the books were misplaced. Luckily, they found them, because I talked about the 4 books. Even though it was like 3 months, PGX found them, and they sent them back to me. But if you do that, and I've done that ever since, you write your name, address, your email address, and your phone number on the back of every book that you send in. Just tape it on the back of the bag, and that'll help you tremendously from potential loss or misplacement. Because it does happen, human error. It can happen with all companies. Next one, I do not believe I've ever sent in to get graded before. This person that I bought this from says it's going to be about an 8.5. That's their saying. They put that on a sticker. But this is Marvel Secret Wars, which we know is going to be coming to the MCU. I always recommend get your books sent before movies come out, not as a trailer has been sent, because especially if you send them to other companies and it takes a year to get them back and 5 months if you spend the extra money, you may miss out. But this, as you can see, is the newsstand variant. It is also the Blue Galactus Error variant. So a couple of little bonus items on this one. I paid a total of $98.98. This is definitely a book I would highly recommend to get. It's a limited 12-issue series. Cover art by Mike Zeck. I've always loved his artwork. It's very roundish the way he does it. Everything's very round. I guess he draws a lot of circles first. But I remember meeting him back in the 90s when I was going to Comic-Cons as a teenager. Or actually in my early 20s. And I got one of his books signed, and I always loved his signature. He has one of the neatest, most understandable signatures. If you've seen some, they're chicken scratch. Mike Zeck takes his time with his signatures. Definitely a book to get. Try and get the series if you can, because I just think this is just a matter of time before Secret Wars gets out there. Obviously, number 8 is another key book to get. If you don't know about that, check into it. But I predict this book, after pressing and dry cleaning, will be about a 9.0 to a 9.2. It does have a little bit of damage on the back, again, because of the non-color breaking creases. But there is a little dent here. Very tip of the book. Very minuscule. So that's going to prevent it from getting a 9.8. Or is that? That could... No, actually, I'm sorry. That's just the white. It looked like because the artwork goes almost to the tip. So when I saw the white, I thought that was bent. So that's just white. So that's even better. So could it get a 9.8? I doubt it, but hey, you never know. So they said an 8.5. Obviously, like I said, it's because it's got a couple of non-color breaking creases on the back. So this will need a pressing. So we'll see what we can get. But for the price I paid for it, especially when that movie starts coming, and that's probably going to be in another 2 or 3 years, definitely a book to consider. Now, this one is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to timing. If you were to send this book in now like I did, and you send it to CBCS or or CGC, you'll probably get it back, even if you spend the extra money to speed up the shipping, you'll probably get it back way after the movie is already out and probably out of theaters, which is not going to give you the best opportunity to sell it. So when people say, for example, CGC is going to sell better than all others, well, not if a movie is already out and you get your book back after the fact. Timing is an issue. So this is Journey into Mystery, Annual Number 1, first appearance of Hercules, which definitely is a key issue, and we've seen is confirmed in Thor Love and Thunder. Will he be a one-and-done character? That remains to be seen. But since the movie does not come out until July, again, without spending the speedy service, because I don't do that, I will get this book back before the movie comes out. So, excuse me. So I will make the most profit out of this, even though PGX would sell less on average than a CGC book. But if you didn't send your books in already and you're waiting for your books, you know, you're crossing your fingers, biting your fingernails. I'm definitely getting this back beforehand. Again, this is a book I bought a couple of years ago, so it doesn't really matter the grade. This is a low grade. I only paid $67.70 for this book. So, again, it can come back, well, it can come back at 0.5 and I would do well. It's not that low, but it does have a tear right here. It does have some, a little bit of a rip on the back. It does have some color breaking creases on the sides here. This is bent in a little bit, so I'm not sure if they'll straighten it out with the pressing. But with color breaking creases, there's nothing you can do about that. Somebody wrote the number 15. So I don't know if they would actually consider that a price stamp because it's one of those grease pencils. But, you know, that is going to affect the grade. I'm predicting about a 2.0 to a 2.5. But again, even for the price I paid for it, I'm going to be very happy with whatever it comes out as. I'm not one of those people that if I don't get a 9.8, I act like my whole world is just, you know, exploded. I don't understand those people, but hey, to each their own. Everybody's entitled to have their own opinions and own feelings. I respect it, even when I don't agree with it. Alright, so, last but not least, I have 2 of these left, and I know it's just a matter of time before this character ends up in the MCU. I want to get all these books graded beforehand. This was one of the number 1 books that I've been telling people for years to get. You probably already know what it is. But to me, this is a no-brainer. If you have this book, get it graded. It is a bagged issue, so that's probably going to help you understand what book it is even further. Excuse me. This is a first print. It will need a pressing. I'll show it and I'll explain after. This, of course, is Ultimate Fallout 4. This is the first print. You could tell because you cannot see the hero's face. This is the first appearance of Miles Morales. Cannot wait for him to make his MCU debut. I hope that happens. I think it will. Considering how much Sony benefits from the Marvel company, Disney company making the movies for them, basically, it'd be a no-brainer to not eventually bring him in. I bought these. I actually gave a couple away when I was doing some mystery boxes, which, by the way, I still do sell my mystery boxes. That's also a link in the description, so check it out. You will not find one of these in the cheaper ones anymore, but I remember a couple of these back in the $50 to $100 area. This book, I was giving them away. As a matter of fact, there was one subscriber who was talking about his child getting into comics. I mailed him this plus a couple of books just to be nice. Didn't ask for anything in return. But because this is a bagged book, and all of a sudden my video is freezing, you'll probably still be able to hear me, so I apologize. The back of this book needs to be pressed because there is basically a little folding point of the bag. That's where you basically pull it apart to tear it out. Tends to leave a crease in the back of the book. Now, how bad that is depends on how it's been stored. So I always tell people to store your books very carefully. But this book absolutely will benefit from a press. I have one that came back in 9.8, and it had the same situation. There is a non-color break increase along the spine. Because it's non-color break increase, a pressing is going to help it. I apologize for the video freezing. Let me try and see if I can reset that. Give me a second. I apologize. No, it's just the internet. Alright, yeah, it's the internet. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm sorry about that. But I'll tell you what I paid for it. I paid between $10 and $12. I bought like about 15 of them back in the days. I think I only have about 7 or 8 of them left in my possession. But for the price I paid, I mean, total for all of them, I can sell one and make 10 times the amount of what I paid for all of them combined. I paid, let's just say I paid $12 for the book. I always say that, even though every single one of them, I paid between $10 and $12, and every single one of them I say $12. So, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to give it a larger range than I normally do. I'm going to say a 9.0 to a 9.8, because again, it really will depend on the pressing. So the pressing, with non-color break increases is absolutely going to help. So please make sure you get your books pressed. And it's telling me to plug in my computer, which it is plugged in. So I don't even know if you're hearing this. If you are, that's great. If not, I apologize. And this is just me blabbing. But unfortunately, there's not much I can do about that when computer just goes haywire. I guess my computer is as sick as I am. So again, about a 9.0 to a 9.8 with white pages. That is going to be dependent on the pressing. So those are the 4 books. Ultimate Fallout 4, issue number 4, first print of Miles Morales, first appearance of Miles Morales. Journey into Mystery, annual 1, first appearance of Hercules. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 1. This is the Blue Galactus variant. It is a newsstand. And What If number 10, first technical appearance of Jane Foster as Thor, but again, it is not canon. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Again, sorry about the fact that you cannot see anymore. And there it goes.